Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk, and today we're going to talk about the STEM school shooting that took place here in Douglas County, Colorado. Let's talk about it. So the first case I want to talk about is the STEM school shooting that took place here in Douglas County, Colorado. And STEM, and a lot of people may not know this, but it stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. I have some familiarity with these type of schools. They're very structured. They provide a lot of education for their buck. This is a charter school. It's free, but it is a very good education for all that people that I know who have sent their children there. They come out way ahead of kind of the average everyday public school system. Now, let's talk about the hero in this particular case. It's a young man that was killed. His name is Kendrick Castillo, and his parents have given an interview to the media out here, and these people are just good people. Kendrick Castillo's father said that he is going to have a lot of guilt for basically raising a very good son. And I could not imagine the loss of a child, let alone under these type of circumstances. But yes, Mr. Kendrick Castillo's family raised him well.
One of the kids told me that, like a flash, he jumped up. She said, you know, he's a hero, he saved me. She said he jumped up and he ran. She said you couldn't even see how fast he was running, you know, out the door and after this person to tackle him. No. No, not at all, you know, because we raised him that way. We raised him to be good. And, you know, I kind of, man, until you're a parent and you have something like this happen, you struggle with that. You know, I know that because of what he did, others are alive. And I thank God for that. I love him. And he's a hero. He always will be. But there's another part of you that wishes he would have just turned and ran, retreated, hid. You know, did something to put himself out of harm's way if that was possible. But we know Kendrick. Maria will tell you that it's no surprise that if danger was facing him, he would approach it, you know, and take it on if it was something like that, you know. And I don't know. I'd like the world to know that, you know, this wasn't your average kid. And as people don't believe that, you know, Google him, research him, find out things about him, but you're going to know that he was extraordinary.
This was a young man who was going to a great school, getting a great education, good parents. You can tell they have a lot of just good, wholesome values. And Kendrick Castillo charged at and tackled one of these shooters in this particular case and actually was shot and killed in doing that, but in the meantime allowed other students and another young man by the name of Brendan Bailey, who is a Marine Corps poolee, which means he's basically enlisted in the Marine Corps. And when he graduates from high school, he is going to go in the Marine Corps this summer after graduation. So two true heroes. It's unfortunate that Kendrick Castillo lost his life in this particular situation, but he is a hero. Now, let's talk about the defendants in this particular case. There are two of them, all right? The first one, Devin Erickson, 18. The other one, Maya McKinney, 16. She's a juvenile. Apparently, she is transitioning to male and goes by the name Alec and wants to be referred to that as Alex, according to her attorney. Devin Erickson appeared in court the other day with his attorney, David Kaplan. He had long hair, blue hair, dyed throughout some of it. Now, does this mean Devin is a good kid or a bad kid? No, it does not, other than he's being charged with murder. He's given the presumption of innocence. But if he were my client, he would be getting a haircut. He would be cleaning up that hair and getting rid of the blue hair. In the big picture in the world, does anybody care whether he has blue hair? Probably not. But perception is reality. I would do anything I could to make this kid look like the all-American kid next door and make him look young as possible so that he could get some sympathy if he were my client. We haven't seen Alec or Maya McKinney, as she is one person, he or she, and we will see how the court will ultimately address she or he in court. She'll be housed with the she's at the Douglas County Detention Center. Now, some of the evidence that we do have, other than we know, obviously, the young Mr. Kendrick Castillo was killed by one or both of these shooters as he heroically tackled them so that other students could help detain them until the police arrived. The car of the teens was towed away from the school, and it had F Society written on it and some sort of pentagram on the hood. It's not sure what, if anything, that means, but it also may sound like it was perhaps a suicide mission of some type. Now, Douglas County, where this is located, Highlands Ranch area, it's a very well-to-do suburb just south of Denver, maybe 20 miles, takes you 30 minutes, maybe 15, depending on traffic. People move there to get out of the city, so to speak, and good education, good place to raise their kids. Pretty affluent. Why can you tell it's affluent? Let's take a look. Devin Erickson's family. Who did they hire for their attorney? Well, they have Mr. David Kaplan. I know David Kaplan. He was my professor in law school. He taught me criminal procedure. When I got out of the Marine Corps, who did I call to say, hey, I want to come back to Colorado? David Kaplan. Well, he is with the firm of Haddon Morgan Foreman. For those who may not be familiar with that name, that is the law firm that represented the Ramseys in the John Bonet investigation. Pamela Mackey also works for Haddon Morgan Foreman, which is the attorney, and she is a great attorney, who represented Kobe Bryant. They always seem to be at the center of the big case where there are affluent defendants in the case. So, Devin Erickson's family, we'll see if they have enough resources to fund a first-degree murder case and probably 30-some counts of attempted murder and first-degree assault. It's going to be a big case. It's going to be an expensive case. I'm sure there's already work going on as it relates to mental health experts doing evaluations, trying to come up with something in mitigation in this particular case. Alec McKinney, we're not sure who her attorney is just yet, but she's going to be in court, or he's going to be in court on Monday of next week for filing of charges. Mr. or Miss McKinney, however the court is ultimately going to refer to her as, is a juvenile. The district attorney, George Brockler, who, for those who don't know all the players in this particular case, he is the elected DA in the 18th Judicial District, which covers Arapahoe County and Douglas County and Elbert County here in Colorado. He prosecuted the Aurora Theater shooting case. He was also the prosecutor when he was a younger DA in Jefferson County and prosecuted the people that purchased the firearms for Columbine, the Dillon and Klebold shooters in that particular case. I know George Brockler. He was just running for the Attorney General's office here. He didn't win. Some people love him. Some people hate him. Either way, you always know where you stand with George Brockler. And most people don't know this, but if you talk to him individually, he is the wittiest guy you have ever seen. Just a real funny guy, lighthearted, but he knows when to be serious, and that he can be. He's a very, very good prosecutor. I don't know if he'll do this case himself or whether I'm sure he'll have deputies on it, but whether he takes it over, we'll see. But he is a very, very good prosecutor. And because nothing is ever simple or nothing is ever easy, there was an armed security guard at this STEM location. This security guard has an attorney because there's allegations being made that apparently he fired a shot in the direction of a sheriff and may have hit the sheriff or maybe a student, but that's still yet to be determined. And it'll be interesting to see whether they file any criminal charges against him or whether it helped or hindered, and not getting political, but I'm sure it'll be a big debate as to whether we should have armed guards at a school, all right? Which goes to another issue here as it relates to this particular case, is that the other day there were supposed to be 2 vigils to celebrate Kendrick Castillo and for the students to come together and basically appreciate everything that had taken place and remember Kendrick Castillo, the young man who died and is truly a hero. The first memorial apparently went that way. The students then moved to another memorial, and it immediately got political with everybody talking about gun control and what they can do, and the students all walked out. I've heard interviews of many of these children. They're not children, they're young adults, and they said, hey, we're not here to get political. We're here to remember our friend and hero Kendrick Castillo. They wanted nothing to do with it. Now, you also have to remember, this is not, Douglas County is not the jurisdiction where you're going to have a whole lot of no-gun advocates, because it's a very conservative jurisdiction, and people like their guns. People like their guns in Colorado. That's just the way it is. This is still kind of the Wild West out here, whether you like it or not, and people don't like to be told what to do by the government. So this will be an interesting case. I don't know if it's good or bad, whether they seem to have so many cases here in Colorado, but we are going to talk about it. Another issue that's developed with this particular case is that apparently a mother had contacted the school about a month beforehand, concerned that this could, the pressure that these kids are put under at this school could result in something like a Columbine taking place. The school apparently investigated it and found that there was no basis to it, and yet here we are. So there's going to be litigation, and at some point, all right, there's going to be cases against the school district. The school in this particular situation is they're a charter school, but they're still under the school district. In a civil case, you have to show that somebody had a duty, and you had to show that the harm that was to be prevented, that wasn't prevented, was foreseeable, all right? In the Aurora Theater shooting case, the reason why the plaintiffs in that particular case got a big 0 from the jury was they simply said it wasn't foreseeable. Nobody had done anything as it relates to shooting up a theater before. But now, it's sad to say, but a school shooting is rather foreseeable. And so if there are lawsuits, and I'm sure there will be some, the question is going to be, is this is reasonably foreseeable, what did you do to prevent it, okay? You're not going to get rid of guns, so let's just get rid of that option. It's a constitutional right, and the United States Supreme Court has held that it is a fundamental right, like free speech, freedom of religion. You're not getting rid of the guns, so you need to come up with a better option, all right? Are you going to turn it into a fortress? Are you going to put up barbed wire? Are you going to limit access in and out? You're going to have metal detectors there? I don't know. School districts are going to have to do something. If you like the channel, please subscribe. Please leave a comment below. And if you want to be notified of new content or when we go live, hit that little bell and you will receive those notifications. Thank you for watching and have a great day.